Alright, so right here, for some reason, okay, so you get 5 stacks in your ferocity, and this is already risky as it is to go right here, but I mean, like, that's the only way you can go, it's the only route, because you just finished doing this, but the problem is, okay, instead of, what you should be doing, okay, instead of running through here when you ulti, you should be running up right here, and then you should be ulting right there to go. Because if you ult right here, which there was a pink here, just already didn't react to the pink, right? But the situation could have went a lot better had you just, went around here. Because if she had reacted to the pink, that kill would have been not there because of you not going around here. You should always try to use your like ulti where you think that they can't see you. And then there's another mistake. Let me play it. Okay, so you ulti with 5 stacks. First of all, with 5 stacks, like, okay, you ulti. You go in with your Q right here. That was your, yeah. You go in with your Q. Like, I know she has no mana, right? But you still don't have enough damage to really one-shot her, okay? So you go in with your Q, and then you don't bola midair. If you're going to go in with your Q combo, you need to at least bola midair, because then she'll be slowed, okay? So that was the first problem, is that you went in with your Q. Second problem is that you didn't E when you were midair. Like, you E'd right there. And your E did hit, but had you E'd midair, you could have already been right here in the back behind her and killing her. Then you go for the tower dive, and right there you should have used your bola. But I mean, you still killed them in the end, right? But it's still like, you had to flash for it. The situation could have been entirely prevented if you just use your bola midair on your first ganks. For your first few ganks, you're going to want to use your bola midair no matter what. Like, if you gank this Yasuo right here, you're not going to use your bola, pretty much, because he could just win while your bolas. You're going to go with your Q combo to get as much damage as possible. But let's say you go bot lane, right? You're coming in from right here with your ulti, you go in, and you Q, you're just going to get CC'd and die. You're not going to kill them, unless your team follows up. You should not expect your team to follow up. So you're going to go in with your bola, you're going to bola him, and he's going to die, because he can't move while you get 2 auto attacks and a Q in. And then, there you go. But see, right here, you could have, this couldn't have been a kill. Like, you could have went in here and not got anything out of it if you would have done the same thing, if Ari had reacted earlier. But, I mean, you did get it, but you got to use your flash, so that's definitely not worth. And you should work on that, is bowling midair. So right here, it's not that big, but you had enough health. You had enough health at the time to, because you had your smite up, so you had enough health to do this and do this. And then by the time you finish these, your race would be up, and then you could back in and clear this out of your jungle to get your clear path like more. It would be better because your ult's down. When your ult's down on Rengar, you should just be farming. You shouldn't be trying to go for ganks, nothing. So it'd be more efficient to go clear these camps right now. So you could clear this and then back and then buy your items. Then you could clear your entire jungle. Would be the most efficient thing to do. But I mean, it's not that big, but it's definitely a minor error that you could fix, is knowing when you can kill camps. Because like, you had some items, so you could definitely kill this. So right here, you could have killed this earlier, so this mistake could have been prevented. But what you should have done, okay? So you see, I know you want your red buff, right? But your clear is going to be so awkward now that you're doing your red buff, because if you would have went bot lane, you would have got these 2 camps in like the time that you would have taken to get the red buff, right? So you're going to do your red buff, you're going to go here, and then you're going to go down here. Like, that wastes so much time. Well, you need to be farming efficiently and effectively. You can't be doing this kind of thing, because if you do this, you're going to be behind in level. So in this situation right here, you see Volibear, and you should have realized that he does in fact have his have red buff. And if a champion has red buff, it's really hard to kill them. Like, it's really not like you should not be fighting anyone that has a red buff. Even if he's a little bit lower than you, he's still a Volibear, and he can probably outfight you, and he's going to. His passive was up, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, his passive's going right now. And the mistake is going into the fight. Like, even if you were going to want to fight him, the mistake is you didn't assume that his passive was up. Okay, you can click a Volibear and see if his passive's up, but you should have just assumed his passive's up, and then, like, I'm not going to go on the Volibear because he can kill me. Because he had the red buff. But if he was, like, 2 levels lower, you could have killed him. So it's basically, this play was a mistake of not being able to judge when you could go in or not. Because had you been able to go in, it would have been a good kill, good decision. But it wasn't, though. And because of that it wasn't, you fucked yourself over, because you might be like, I carried this game really hard, but I still lost, whatever. This is the first mistake that really matters, is because you have a lead right now. You're doing somewhat decent. You could be doing better if you would have farmed more effectively. But the problem is that you died. You died when you had a lead. So right now, you effectively threw your lead, just right here. So this is a mistake. You go back on him. Wait, please don't tell me you had a bola up, though. Okay, good, it wasn't up. And you died. Right there, that was fully your fault. So that wasn't your team's fault. I don't know what your mindset was there, but I hope it wasn't like blaming your team, because that was your choice to fight that. But now you know that you could have done better. It's a decision making process. You have to make mistakes like that to get better at the game. It's like if you do that, the next time you'll know what your limits are, and you're still learning Rengar's limits, so that's perfectly fine. So right here, you jumped on the Lucian, and if you would have bullied midair, you could have killed him. I'll put it like extra slow. So you jump. And you should Q before you jump in this situation, so because there's no way you're gonna get the auto attack reset. And then right here is when you should be bullying, right? If you bully him right here and get your Q off and your W, he should die because you're so fed. And see, your Q does that much. So imagine if you would have bullied and W'd. Was your teamat up? I can't even see if your teamat's up. But if your teamat was up, he would have died. So it ends here, right? You're still going to kill him, but you could have like not taken half your health of damage. And you could have lived versus Volibear. So right here, you better empower... No, okay, you empowered Q'd. So that was an error right there. So right there, you should not have empowered Q'd, because Volibear is so tanky that you're not going to be able to just solo him 1v1. You should have either empowered W'd and walked away, or your teammates were there and you should have empowered E'd, so they could have just killed Volibear, and you should have stayed around for another E so you could slow him so your teammates could kill him. But in that situation, you should have just took what you got right there, because you're 11-3. You brought it back from 1-3, okay? So that's really good. Like, you're playing really well from your mistake, but you just threw your lead right here again. There's a problem, because you died again, and it could have been prevented if you'd played better, but you'll know better next time is the thing that matters the most. Is you should know when you can leave and when you can stay and when you can go in and when you can't go in, is what you need to learn. So Volibear is just gonna kill you. Yup. And see, right there, I mean, even if you empowered Q'd him and you just walked away, you would have been fine. You should have known, like, he could definitely kill me right now, I'm too low, and then just walked away. But you'll know better next time, so that's what matters. So right here in this situation, you see a good chance to go in, a really good chance to go in, to assassinate their backline. And you go in, you Q before you jump, which is good. You go in, but you don't tiamat, you don't W midair, and you don't E midair, which is gigantic to Rengar's combo. Because you see how much damage you did in 1Q right there? Imagine if you would have just Tiamatted. Like, that simple. If you just Tiamatted or E'd, he would have died. And your Tiamat was up. It was like, you need to work on that. It's really big on Rengar. You have to be able to combo correctly. If you EW Tiamatted right there, midair, he would have died, and then you could have just started focusing on Volibear right away. You're gonna kill Volibear, I hope, so let's see. Okay, right there you should have empowered Bullet. You empowered Q'd right there, when the best... Wait, yeah. You empowered Q'd right there, when the best thing to do would be empower Bullet so your team could catch back up, because, like I said, you're not going to be able to solo him because he's so tanky, but you and your team together can take him down. So you should have empowered E'd right there. So another thing is right here, you did not blue midair again, and I mean, I keep stressing that a lot. But I mean, that's one of the big mistakes you need to fix before you can actually effectively carry a lot of games, because that's a big error. Like, if you had bullied midair, you probably would have killed him because he couldn't have flashed in time, because he flashed way too late here, and you could have probably killed him. So then after you don't bully midair, he just guns you down. Yeah. It's okay. The thing about bullying midair is your bull is like the majority of Rengar's combo. Let me go back so I can click on you. Okay, so let me just okay. So your Q by itself right now, your empowered Q does 542 damage plus 240, not counting resistances. Your E does 250 plus 175 without counting resistances, okay? So you're missing out on that much damage for absolutely no reason. And it's just something you need to get better at. And then your... Where is your... Okay, your Tiamat does 362, which is also a lot. And you're not using your Tiamat either in your combos, is a problem. The Tiamat should be used while you're midair with your W. So, what you did well this game was you farmed well. You had 50 farm at 10 minutes, which is what you're supposed to have. At 20 minutes, you had a good amount of farm. I'm pretty sure you had 100, which was what you're supposed to. No, you had 90, which is fine enough. And your XP was fine. Things that you didn't do well were pretty big. Is not bullying midair, not teamatting midair, not Wing midair. And you don't ulti at all for picks. You ulti for like surefire things. Like let's say this Yasuo is right here and you're right here. You can ulti and kill him for sure, yeah. But when everyone's Mia on the map and you have Ghostblade in 12 stacks, you can just ulti from right here and just run down mid lane, because the likelihood is that someone will be farming one of these, someone will be right here, and that's the kind of stuff that wins games, because that's how you strengthen your elitist Rengar, because ulting for free kills like that isn't going to always be there, so you shouldn't rely on that. And that's one thing, but you need to work on the other stuff before you can get better, like ulting for picks like that. You went 17-7, but you fucked up so hard early game. You died 3 times for no reason when you had a lead. You were 1-0 and you died once, and then you died 2 more times right afterwards. So even though you're 17-7, you still made a lot of mistakes this game. It might look like you played really well, but the 3 deaths that you did early game, like 1 death is all it takes to throw your lead, and then the other 2 deaths just make it like you're deeper down in the rut, and you brought it back. But then you played some team fights. You played some team fights pretty poorly. You made some pretty poor decisions in team fights. But yeah, that's what happened this game, is you made poor decisions in team fights and you threw your lead early game. You did well by bringing your lead back. I don't know if it was just by pure luck that you brought your lead back, but you did pretty well by bringing it back. But the problem was that with your lead that you had, you were not team fighting good, and when you died the Volibear last, you could have done pretty much everything differently right there, but you decided to keep fighting him. And so like, you could have carried this game solo. If you're that fed on Rengar, what you need to do is what Rengar players don't do, what separates good Rengars from bad Rengars, besides bullying midair, is just ulting. Ulting for free kills like this, you don't have those late game because people group. But what you can do is just ulti mid lane. Like, there's no wards in this middle lane right here. If there's no minions here, you just go right here and you ulti and you run with Ghostblade for your 14-second ultimate or whatever when you have stacks, 12 stacks. And you basically just kill people. There'll be people here, people here. You'll get vision of pretty much everything. You just kill them. So that's what you need to be doing to carry these games, is getting picks. When your teammates are behind, you see your teammates are behind, they're feeding, they suck. You should be getting picks instead of team fighting, because team fighting you have to play perfectly anyways if your teammates are behind. And even if you play perfectly in a team fight when your teammates are behind, you still might not win the team fight. So you need to be going for picks, because if you go for picks, that's one-on-one when you're the most fed person on your team, and you could definitely do that. So basically, when your team is behind, go for picks or split push. When your team is ahead, try to team fight. And if your teammates say group, just say, no, we are 2 behind. Just split push or farm. That's what you need to tell your team. Just farm. I will carry. Your farm was good this game. Your farm was good at decent times. You had XP at decent times. But the problem was, in the end, is the root of all the problems this game is that you threw your lead. Fix that. You can't be throwing your lead.